Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me. My name is Susan Timchak and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'd like to welcome you here. Tonight I am very excited to share with you that finally, ta-da, our Stampin' Blends are available for you to purchase. They started on sale today, November 1st, 2017, and you can head on over to my website at stampinsuecreates.stampinup.net, and you could see a full flyer on that, and you'll be able to place your order. There's also a special stamp set called Color Me Happy, which is this one right here, and there is a coordinating kit as well that you can purchase the stamp set and the kit together, save 10% as a bundle, get your Stampin' Blend markers, and you are good to go. So what I wanted to share with you tonight is I'm using the Garden Girl stamp set, and I'm also using the word Celebrate from the Color Me Happy stamp set, and I created this really fun card using the Stampin' Blends. I mean, here in Pennsylvania it's getting cold, it's getting winter, so I thought let's think spring. So let's go ahead and get started on this fun card. Now I did some prep ahead of time. I'm using Tempting Turquoise. This is cut at 11 by 4 1/4 and scored at 5 1/2. Then I have a piece of the Daffodil Delight, and this is cut at just a smidgen smaller. This is just going to make a very small little mat just to kind of go underneath. And then here's a piece of Whisper White that I cut at 4 by 5 1/4. So we're going to start with the Whisper White piece first. Oh, let me share with you before we begin. I did another card the other day, and unfortunately I gibbered too long and YouTube cut me off. But this is the finished sample of that card, and I used the Stampin' Blends to color in Santa. Isn't he cute? And the cable knit sweater. This is going to be the invites to my upcoming cookie exchange. So you'll want to go back and see that video and see how I created that card. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with the clean canvas here. So first I took the 1 1/4 inch, this is the old whale punch, and a post-it note, and they're all sticking together. And all I did is I punched a circle, and then I have a little mask here. So I want to do my little sunshine. So I'm going to take this part of it, stick that down, that'll hold it. And I have crushed curry here. I'm going to take the crushed curry. I'm going to make myself, with one of our little Stampin' sponges, a nice sun. Okay, let me close that up. And let me hide this from Dory. And then we'll take that away, and look at our perfect sunshine. Isn't that wonderful? And you could save this mask to use over and over again. So now the other piece that I cut out from the center, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to protect that little sun that I already did, because I don't want any color to go on that. So I'm going to use one of our brayers, our sponge brayers, and I have the color Soft Sky. I have a little bit of yellow on that, but that's not going to matter. We're going to go, now when you ink this up, you go right on your ink pad and just go back and forth and add as much or as little as you like. And this is going to create our sun. Now you can go down as far as you want with this, because we're going to do some green grass underneath. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. And then I'm going to bring in the, I forgot the name, Wild Wasabi. Wild Wasabi, I have another sponge. Now when I did my first one, I kind of went really hard on here. So I'm going to kind of try to do this a little bit lighter. This is going to be our grass. It's as easy as that. Close that up. Oh no, I'm going to need that. Okay, now there is a stamp that's in the Garden Girl. It's this little grass. So I'm going to use the Wild Wasabi, and I have that mounted already, and I'm just going to kind of go along the bottom, not re-inking in between, And then here and there, you know, like I don't know about your yard, but my yard kind of has like little patches here and there. So just to kind of, not really any thought involved, just to kind of fill that in a little bit to however you like it. Okay, oh, you know what, and while I have this out, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp the word celebrate, which comes from the Color Me Happy stamp set. Make sure I have it going the right way. Okay. And I'm going to remove this little mask here, and I'm going to stamp right there, celebrate. Okay, so now that is all done. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mount this all together. I'm going to use my Tombow liquid glue for this. And normally I wouldn't put glue all over the back of this white piece, because a lot of times if you just put it on the white, you will see it through. But because I ink this up, we're not going to have any problem with that. Making sure my ink is dry, I'm going to turn it over. And then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere that to my tempting turquoise. Just like this. And if you could see, just a little tiny bit, just peeks out. Okay, so there we have that. We'll set that aside. So now we're going to go ahead, and I already have this girl stamped, and I stamped it with the black Memento ink. And I also have a little bunny, and I cut them out. I actually got a new Brother scanning cut, and I used that to, I stamped a whole bunch of them on a sheet, and I just ran it through the scanning cut, and it cut it all out for me, so that took a big step away. So let's start with the bunny. We're going to use a lot of these different colors that we have. This is the light pink pirouette, and I'm just going to use a little bit of light just inside the bunny's ear. And then I'm going to take the dark, because our Stampin' Blends have two colors that come, the light and the dark, and they work very well together. They are double-sided on the tips. One has a brush tip and the other one has a little marker type. One is marker and one is kind of a little blunt tip, if you could see that. And here is the marker tip. And you want to make sure when you put the caps on, there is a little well inside there, and you want to make sure when you put these in that you put them straight in, and make sure you hear that click. That click means that it is secure, it is locked in, and you don't want the air to get at it too much, because the longer it's exposed to the air, the more the alcohol is going to absorb into the air. So we're going to start with our bunny, and I'm just kind of scribbling, as you can see. This is the light gray, and I'm going to go ahead with the darker gray, and I'm just going to kind of highlight. The one thing with the blender pens, the Stampin' Blends, I'm going to keep calling them blender pens, the Stampin' Blends, is when you're working with them, you want to work with one after another. You don't want it to dry too much, because once it dries too much, then you have a harder time to blend it. So now I'm going back over with the light, kind of blending that in. It's kind of hard to see on the bunny because it's so little. Now I see that I need a little bit more, so I'm just going to go back over just a little bit more. And I mean, I have no degree in coloring. I am not good at coloring, but these Stampin' Blends just help take care of all of that. Alright, so that's good. I'm going to kind of leave his little tail a little white. I just put a little tiny gray in there. Now if you go along, I have a little thing there. If you find that you have too much color, we have a color lifter, which actually has no color to it. And you can actually go in and you could remove some of the color. So if there's a certain spot that you wanted it to be a little bit lighter, it'll take away some of the color for you. Okay, so there's our little bunny. Now let's go on to the girl. I'm not going to color in the whole entire thing. Let's see, I got about 5 more minutes. So let's start with the flesh tone. We'll start with her face. So I'm going to go in, believe it or not, we have two flesh tone colors. One is ivory and the other one is bronze. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with the bronze. And you're going to think, oh boy, that's going to be too dark. But wait till you see how well this blends. So I'm just going to kind of go along her hairline. And like I said, you know, you don't have to be too perfect with this. I'm going to go along her arm on the left-hand side. And along there. And her legs. Just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead in with the ivory. Let me get the other tip. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to where I put that bronze. And I'm just going to blend that color in. And what it's basically doing is removing that harsh line and just blending it to give you a tone, a different nice tone. You see how that does that so well? It makes me look like, you know, I know how to shade and that I'm artistic, where, believe me, I am not. Okay, do you see that? If you wanted to go back and do any more anywhere else, you can. But I like how that turned out. Let me hold her up a little bit closer so you can see her. Okay, so now we're going to go with her hair. And for her hair, we're going to use crumb cake. And where is my other crumb cake? Sometimes these colors, I have two different lights here. And it's hard to distinguish sometimes. This is a true white light. The one I have over on the side, however, is not. So I'm going to go with the crumb cake. I'm going to start with the dark first. And it's totally up to you. If you wanted to start with the dark first, the light first, however you wanted to do it, to do your blending. There's no right or wrong way. Okay, a little bit there, a little bit here, underneath there. Okay, I'm going to go with the light one. And I'm just going to go over all of that and just blend it, blend it, blend it. Here under there. And I did cut out, sorry, I hope my head's not in the way. I did cut out around her head and that with my paper snips because I didn't want that, you know, in through here where you can see my finger. And I just kind of cut around her her hair, but I'm going to glue it all down, so it's not going to be no worries. And again, it's just to have fun. I'm going a little quick here because I want to make sure that I don't cut off. And now I just realized I forgot her little neck. So we'll just go back in like we did before with a little bit of dark. And then bring in the light. And then, of course, she has to have red lips. So I'm going to bring in the cherry cobbler. I'm going to go with the dark cherry cobbler. Just like that. Now, okay, she has little carrots in her little basket here. So, I'm going to go with the pumpkin pie. I'm going to go with the light one first, color them in. And this is a very small area, but I'm just going to go over the highlighted area that Stampin' Up! Has provided for us already. Go in over that to add a little dark. Then go back with my light to blend that in, just like that. We have Old Olive. So like I said, I'm using a lot of colors here. Old Olive for the tops of the carrots. I'm just going to leave that open for now. And just going to kind of highlight just a little bit on there. And then go ahead and blend that in. How cute she is, isn't she? So let's give her some yellow rain boots, or garden boots. So I'm going to go with the dark. I'm going to turn her around. I'm going to kind of highlight the one side and the bottom. I'll leave that open for now. Go in with the light. Blend that color in. Remove that harsh line. And if you find that you need a little bit more, go ahead and add a little bit more. And then blend it in. It's as easy as peasy as that.